Welcome back to part 2 of the 1982 Kawasaki 750 Limited rebuild engine withdrawal. Maybe you remember yesterday evening where I left off. So now we're going to continue with making the preparations to pull the engine, and I hope to be able to do that this evening. Thanks Roy for the comment with regards to bagging the parts. I'll show you in a moment that actually I'm going to be doing that. Besides that, after filming yesterday evening, I took off the rear brake pedal and also the rear footrest. So this evening I'm going to be taking off the remaining wiring which needs to take place, and also the clutch cable, and of course the chain has to be taken off. And then, just like previously, I'll put a board under the engine and jack up the engine, take out the engine bolts of course and all the brackets, and just pull out the engine. So let's get started. There's a lot to do, and I hope I am able to get as far to pull the engine this evening. Now Roy, thanks again. Just to show you that I'm following up on your tip, I'll just show you that I'm now bagging all the parts, as you see here. I've done that in previous videos, but thank you for reminding me again. So also the RPM cable has been taken off, and now I'm actually going to take off the rest of the wiring. As you can see here, the pickup coils where the wiring, it's been disconnected, so that's okay. And take off the rest of the wiring, take off the clutch cable of course, and the drive chain, and hopefully take out the brackets and pull the engine. So let's get started. Now there's not a whole lot of room on the left side of the engine here, but we'll make the best of it. And the idea is to remove the whole clutch cover, including the clutch mechanism housed inside. So we'll take off the whole cover and leave it aside, so that enables me to pull the engine. So let's get started. Well, to get enough access to remove the clutch cover, you're going to have to remove the left footrest, as you see I've done here, and put the bolts back on so I don't lose them. I'll take off the clutch, or the shifter of course, and then we'll take off the clutch cover, and that's about it. Well, as you can see here, we've taken off the shifter and we've taken off the cover of the starter motor, and now we can take off the clutch cover in one go. Well, as you can see here, I pulled the clutch cover, and the clutch cable is still attached to the clutch adjuster. So here we have it on the left side of the engine. Now it's only a matter of taking off the drive chain, which I'll do now. Take off the link and remove the chain, and besides that, loosen up the last bit of wiring and pull the engine. Right, well here we have the link that I need to remove off the chain. I put a flashlight just to give it a little bit more light so you can see it more clearly. I'll remove this link, take off the chain, and make the next step. Well, here we have it off the drive chain, and it was quite easily just to knock it off by putting a pair of pliers right onto the face of the link here, and just tap it down slightly with a hammer and it will just let go. So then you see at the moment that the link is still of course in the chain. Here you see it. So I'll take out the link and then we can take off the chain. Well, as you can see here, the chain link has been taken off. Don't lose the 4 O-rings, 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside. So I'll just run off the chain now, take off the last electrical parts on the engine, and jack up the engine and pull it out. Right, so where are we now? Well, actually I've taken off the drive chain, taken off all the cables and electrical wiring, and as you can see here, I chose the easiest way. So I actually disconnected the wiring from the starter solenoid to the engine. So all the wiring and the connectors have been taken apart. So there's no wiring holding this engine in the frame anymore. There's no chain. There's no exhaust, of course. So actually now it comes down to loosening the engine bolts, putting the jack under the engine, jacking up the engine slightly, and pulling out the engine. So let's start doing that now. Well guys, as you can see here, the engine has been pulled out of the frame. It was a little bit more difficult than the first time around, and that's probably because I only had one board on the jack, and that wasn't stable enough, so it was rocking back and forth, and it was difficult to actually pull the engine out over the lower part of the frame here. But it worked. What I did do is take out the top two engine mounts and rods which are holding up the engine. Those were loose, so I took those out and made sure that the jack was snug and tight under the engine. Then with a rubber hammer I just took out the bottom two engine rods, bolts, whatever you want to call them, and nuts of course, and the engine came free. And then it's just a matter of using a little bit of muscle power to extract the engine. So here it is. I'm going to call it a night. It took me 1 hour and 15 minutes from starting this video, taping the video, and taking out the engine. And tomorrow evening I'll be taking off the valve cover, check the valves first, just to make sure that the valves are okay, the adjustment is okay, that the shims are right, and then take off the valve head, which I'll be taking over to Ted this weekend to have a good look over and solve any issues with the intake valve cylinder number 3. So that's it for this evening, and tomorrow evening I'll start opening up the engine and take it from there. So time to grab a beer. See you tomorrow.